Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Madmen with a Box. Today, we're going to be discussing the latest Doctor Who episode, the season finale, Empire of Death, the second part to this finale. But before we get into that, we have, of course, Landry Q. Walker, Javane,
Hey, everybody.
and Joe the Corrallos.
It's true.
We do not have a review from Chris this week.
No, we didn't even get an email.
Because apparently his plan with Disney Plus, he went to the Philippines actually. But yeah, they have Disney Plus in the Philippines, but it's their Disney Plus, so I guess it's different. So we don't have anything from Chris, and Jimmy unfortunately is working. That is why he's not here tonight. We know for once. But before that, I just have to go ahead and the one piece of news that we have is the cover reveal for the next Third Doctor adventure. He is, of course, with Joe Jones. Yes, continuing their adventures. Yes. And the quintessence. Yep. It's cool. That's nice. There's apparently a Cyberman somewhere in there.
I'm looking now. It's Joe. Joe is the Cyberman. See it now.
First Bill, now Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Not
Danny Pink.
Yeah, Danny Pink. Yep.
The Brigadier. Sorry, I had to bring that up, Landry. But with that, there's really nothing more to do than to go ahead and get into the Empire of Death.
Cool. Let's dive right in.
Wait. Is it weird that we have a Doctor Who finale and nothing to talk about news-wise? Shouldn't there be like, by the way, the show ended, but here's that's a good news time. That's a good time to go, here's what's coming.
There were things about the Christmas special, but nothing new other than the fact that Stephen Moffat is writing it, but we already knew that. That got revealed like 5 weeks ago.
We need good news. Okay.
Yeah, we got little sneaky bits and Unleashed, I guess, but nothing noteworthy.
Right.
All we can really talk about is this episode. I know you're trying to hold off, Landry, but we got to get into it.
All right.
You know what?
Yeah,
I think you're gonna. No, we started with you last week.
Yeah.
Joe of the Corrallos.
Oh, okay. If you really want to start with me, I really did not like this.
No.
There was a lot to not like. And I feel like, as a disclaimer here before anything else, almost basically everything I didn't like about this was Russell T Davies. I don't think any of the actors were any better or worse here. I think everyone did what they do. I think people worked through whatever they had to work through with this. I thought it was mostly fine. Some of the Sutekh effects and things like that were a bit wonky, like when it was flying through the void and like coming to the target. It was a little too uncanny valley. It's like, I know what I'm getting into with this and it being Doctor Who, but it was, even then I was a little like, this is the finale. Maybe scrape together a few extra bucks, make it look a little nicer.
The effects were the one thing I had going for it, Joe.
But most of the effects were fine, but there were just moments in there for that. But what a waste of my fucking time. Like,
being so nice about this, Joe.
Right? It was very like, And look, some more positives. Again, the fact that they did a season without Dalek, Cyberman, Master, any of like the marquee villains. That's something you don't see all the time. Great, good job there.
Not even in the Christmas special. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So that was good. Okay, so one of my single biggest pet peeves in fiction, in it, whenever a writer does something like this, it immediately ruins it for me at this point, because I have just my tolerance for this trope has just diminished with age. Is I have been the villain in the background for all this time, and I have been plotting and planning how this would happen for eons, and you're going to beat me in about 15 minutes after I explain that.
It was about 40. It was about 40. I counted.
No, but when he first explains it to, when it's not that long. It's still an embarrassing.
Especially if you've been lurking in the background for years. Yeah. And in 20 minutes, as soon as you know I'm here, I'm out. I'm done. That is it. I should have I should have stayed in the background. This was a bad idea. Yeah.
I mean, like, it was, he did win. He killed pretty much everything.
But this was the series 3 master finale, but worse. This was because the second Kate was killed, I was like, it's a reset up. They're going to reset it. The second that she got killed, I was like,
immediately.
Yep. I was like, this is the series 3 finale again. This is it's a reset. None of these people are actually dead.
Yeah.
Like when
you go that route, you know there's no stakes.
Yep. And that immediately cut this down at the knees for me, like immediately. And for the payoff, and again, the payoff at the end, it's not worth it. It wasn't one of those things where everyone learned a lesson or we still lost something. It was just like a total win. It was filled with all of the nonsense that you get at like the worst kind of Russell T Davies stuff of like, if you're deaf, that has to mean I'm life. Does it? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, it doesn't make any, you're not the same people. It's like deities versus Time Lord, and that's an apples to oranges. What are you fucking talking about?
You didn't absolutely love the line, I bring death to death.
Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, I don't know. And then the stuff with Ruby was just like
banal.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we're just doing the Last Jedi bit where you're not and like that's a trope now that's really been hit over the head and driven home at this point. It's a tired trope now to be like, actually, you were the special thing in your life all along. It's not this. So, and then and they don't really explain how that's what beat Sutekh. Like, again, it's like, what? Like, it beat her because he couldn't find her mom, but you could find her mom with the time machine because the doctor forgot that he could in the future find this. Like, they didn't think to maybe use a time machine. And also, why are they assuming her mom's still alive in 2046? You know, people do die. It happens. Like,
no.
What are we like? Like, that's just so. This episode bombards you with nonsense until you're tired and worn and are like, I can't think of more problems with this episode. Just leave me alone. And it's And yeah, and then she's like, I guess I'm just gonna stay with my biological family, even though this is supposed to be a season that's an uplifting message about found family. And
no. I'm going to go ahead and just come to the defense there. Her biological family, that's only the mother. The mother isn't married, doesn't have
No,
any
they're calling up the dad next. They said that.
they're going
remember,
to go ahead and call
Yeah.
her dad, but she's also with her foster mother as well. But yeah.
No, but I'm not gonna. You can't call bullshit. But it's still like
No,
the
I know
whole
what you're saying.
can't. Yeah, it's like telling people like, kids, you can have your foster parents and your biological like. It's just weird. It's a weird like. It undercuts the beauty of the found family message by being like, how about you have your cake and eat it too? It's very. I don't get it. There's no real. We didn't need that. Like, why did we have to find her real or her biological mother? You know, like why?
Yeah.
Why was that a thing that shouldn't? The journey she went on, this series, like normally what happens in Doctor Who is the companion joins and in some way learns something and is maybe a better person in some regard or another. Usually they're not worse, and it comes off like maybe she's worse. Like that, like I decided to throw out the lifelong lesson about who family really is because I have a time machine and I fuck it. You know, it's what a waste. What a bizarre waste of time. What a waste of the fandom. What a way to like bring it down on an uneven season that desperately needed a slam dunk finale.
Yeah.
Like I could keep going on and on. That's not fair. I will cede the floor.
I'm sure we're going to go ahead and we'll go round and around and around because
Sure, I know, but I'm like I gotta let other people.
But Javane, yeah, honestly, it is my fault. I've just been really busy, so every time I've been meaning to write you, especially with Chris gone, I've had it in my mind. I need to write Javane.
We keep asking him. We keep asking him. And
we do.
It was simply a fact of whenever I like today. Once this show ends, I have to go straight to sleep because I have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. So we're doing great. But no, Javane, if you want, I mean Empire of Death, but if you want to go ahead and like highlight thoughts on the season 2,
well, first of all, I'm glad to be back. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are at least thinking of me, but the busyness of life caught up with you. But yeah, I think I agree with Joe, and I think the problem is like I was on the last time. The last time I was on was the last of the Christmas specials. We talked about bi-generation and basically how it kind of it removed the stakes from everything. And I think unfortunately this season finale has been an exclamation point to that very thing. It's just there was no stakes in this at all. It was like this actually all. I agree with both Landry and Joe. Like the minute you saw Kate die, like unit get wiped out, it was sort of like you guys are doing like a poor man's version of Endgame, and you're gonna wrap everything up by the end of the episode. And this is something that honestly, the season finale should have ended on a cliffhanger. It should have been a cliffhanger where you go back into the second season. You don't know how they're gonna get all this stuff resolved, but the fact that they did it in a way that they wrapped it up with it within the same episode is just like I don't know what Russell T Davies is trying to do at this point. I just don't know. I don't know what he's trying to do. This just felt really, really safe. That's all I can say. It just felt really, really safe. And I've been waiting the whole season. Usually when I would say I'm fairly new to Doctor Who, having jumped on when 11 with Matt Smith came on, And what I believe is somewhat of a Whovian tradition is whenever a new Doctor Who takes over, you're waiting for the episode where you can go, okay, now this guy's my doctor. This is someone I can invest in going forward, particular journey. And with what is it 15?
Yeah.
Who's counting with 15? That never happened. It just never happened. There's not one episode that I've watched where I'm going, okay, now I understand why I should at least go along with this new guy as a doctor. And maybe part of that is because not that I had a whole lot of problems with 14. I mean, the 14 was always a mixed bag, but the thing was that they needed to really knock it out the park to get all of us reinvested in Who. And this season wasn't it, and this season finale wasn't it. And you know, my brothers and I, we had this running joke about the first Harry Potter movie, that the answer to overcoming the deadly situation they were in was love. And now with this episode, it's like the answer to overcoming the deadly scenario that we're in is just be ordinary. I have no idea what her mother had to do with resolving this situation. Just I don't get it. I just nothing about this made sense. Not in the way that if I had subjected my family to this episode, they would look at me going like, huh? I just would have looked at them and went, huh, back. It was a nothing burger. It was just a nothing burger. And I would have to say, this has been a real disappointing season. I didn't feel like there were a whole lot of, I didn't think they would set up a whole lot of things to be paid off, but the way they did pay off pretty much the whole Ruby thing, it was just like there was all this mysterious stuff, guys, that was happening. And, you know, oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? And basically none of it meant anything. And the whole season has just felt like nothing means anything. I don't care what Mrs. Flood says at the end, giving a cryptic warning. They got me with that one back with 11 when it was just like the one question you dare not answer, and it just kind of went away after that. Did whole promos about it. I was like, yeah, they're gonna answer this question. Yeah, this was he's got one more season. He's got one more shot at the apple 15. And if they don't figure it out, you know, the damage done by 14 is the damage that, you know, the franchise might be unrecoverable at this point. It just might be.
I think we're losing you there.
Oh no, sorry. You guys.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah, that's right. The damage would be unrecoverable.
Yeah, it just might. Yeah, the franchise might be unrecoverable at this point. Yeah, it didn't move the needle at all. Yeah.
Okay. Landry of the Q Walkers.
I think you guys are both too nice. Like this was not good. I mean, it's saying it. That's saying it lightly. The actors did fine. Yeah. I've been saying this from the start when I first heard Russell T Davies come back. He said, but he needs to come back and do what he did in 2005 or whatever, and reinvent Doctor Who for a new audience. And he didn't. He reinvented his Doctor. He just reset the clock to see the same things we've seen before. But it's 2024, and we're seeing tropes that are played out now. We're seeing like hooks that, and I get there's a whole new audience of kids, but kids aren't the same. They don't interface with media the same as they did in 2005 or whatever. It's a different world. Yeah. This felt like I don't know where to start. There's no stakes because we know everyone's going to come back. We know it's going to be a clock reset. We know it just makes it boring because none of it matters at that point. There's no big loss. And I don't care about Ruby. I don't. I thought the most interesting thing with Ruby was when she said, we are going to go see my mom. And they go back and they see her adopted mother. And I thought, there it is. that should have been the end of it. She made a statement that I thought was so good, so strong, and it meant something to people who might need that message. And then what do we get instead? We get the doctor saying, hey, look, she's had like 7,000 days to find you, as they're standing outside the cafe. Maybe you should just let her live her life and you live yours. And she just runs in there because the doctor can't tell her what to do about her mom. It's just like, oh my God, no. I thought that was just, I'm overcome with emotion by how bad it was. Now that said, not to say that I mean, listen, the TARDIS dragging, whether or not he should be the god of death, they've positioned him as the god of death. He is to what the Toymaker is to play. He is to death in this new canon. Fine. The Doctor dragging him through the vortex by a leash attached to the TARDIS was fantastic visually, just stunning. And not the effects. The effects were garbage. Joe is right. The effects of them, there was something I'm looking at going, this is reminding me of when Mickey got eaten by a garbage can a little bit. But in terms of, but I'm speaking in terms of conceptually. The Doctor it's an epic moment, and we come here for those moments of greatness, and it did deliver that moment, but it's nonsensical. The stakes aren't there because we already knew the solution. The solution doesn't connect. It's like, and this just works. Why? Because Death is ripping his claws through the vortex, and somehow that puts everyone back. I don't understand why that, like, logistically, I don't love it when we see a big reset, but you can do a big reset. I've written a big reset. I did a Batman story that had a big reset. It needs to make sense within the rules of the universe you're playing with. This one, it just happened. It just happened. And as epic as it was, the fact that it just happened was distracting. Murray Gold, who I have been so glad has come back, didn't really deliver. Every season before that Murray Gold did the music for, I've walked away with a track I can put on loop in the background while I work that is just brings out something emotional that I'm looking for. I didn't get that this season. And yeah, it's just, there wasn't anything to really care about. So I don't know what else to say about it. It just happened.
At least the memory TARDIS was cool.
Okay. Oh, that reminds. Okay, so I watched it on Wednesday. I didn't rewatch it. I'm not probably ever going to watch it. I liked Mel. I liked Mel's performance. I like the bit with Mel when the Doctor realizes that she is already dead. I thought that there should be more of an emotional reaction. Like, I loved when in the special when David Tennant runs to her aid when the Toymaker is screwing around with her. But regardless, it wasn't enough to help this. And I'm looking forward to a new season because, as said, there's only the show desperately needed to find its feet after the last few years, and it hasn't.
Just to go ahead and address some of the things that Sean is saying, fiction has an obsession with adopted people trying to find their biological family, even if they are happy where they are. I mean, there's a good bit of that. And yeah, a lot of people are saying that they should have made the cliffhanger Sutekh's the sands of death, dust of death. They should have gone ahead, killed everybody, and that's how you end the episode, rather than the reveal itself.
And it was awful that they further beat you over the head with it and explain it within this episode.
Yeah.
It's like, we all figured it out before the reveal last episode. I don't fucking need Sutekh explaining the wordplay to me.
Yes. Yeah. That wasn't great. And there are some rumors that because they go ahead and mention that the dad is William, so maybe that's going to connect to Gwillem, but I don't.
I mean, it's.
I don't know.
The problem is I don't care. I just want it to go away. I want Ruby to go away. I don't care about that storyline. I don't care about why it snowed. They made it banal. They made it boring. It's
no. there are things in the concept of hey, we're going to bring Sutekh back, and I can even get on board with he's evolved to the point, because like I said right before stream, I told Landry the good thing about this episode is it made me realize how damn good Pyramids of Mars is, because I've rewatched it. I'm going through the novelization. I really love that story. I don't love this story.
You should feel bad about that, though, because cultural appropriation. They said that in the episode. But also, how fucking lame is it when you're watching a show and the show is watching the show to figure out what's happening?
Like, I enjoyed seeing that clip, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, the clip was but yeah, it was just and they've done it in other episodes where it's like worked for me, but like in this episode, it seemed like they were grinding the episode to a halt to sit around and watch it like on a tablet, which was weird.
You didn't want to see the doctor buy a spoon?
Oh, that was something real, metal with a spoon. You know what was a better moment with a spoon? When the 12th Doctor went ahead and fought Robin Hood with a spoon. That was great. This was not. Again,
so I have a quick question.
Yes,
so
sir.
Now that this is a Disney Plus original, how much influence does Disney have on the production of the Doctor Who series going forward? Is that just one of those things where it's just called the Disney Plus original because they just bought the rights to distribute on Disney Plus? Or they're actually telling BBC what to do with this?
No, they aren't telling the BBC what to do. It's still a BBC production. It's a Bad Wolf production, but it's just that Disney Plus is distributing it to most of the world.
They almost had a scapegoat there. But so this was terrible. Even the Remember TARDIS bit, for a half a moment there, when they went into it, I thought it was going to be the Cushing TARDIS, which I thought it would have been cool. I was like, oh snap, that's something, you know. But this, to Landry's point, the franchise needed to find its footing with this season, and I just think that what happened with the last Tenet special, the last Tenet Tate specials is that they pretty much. I'm sorry, let me know if I'm coming in and out.
Giggle. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, Giggle. Yeah, they pretty much telegraphed they weren't going to do. This was just going to be one long introduction to this iteration of the Doctor that was going to go nowhere, and it just went nowhere. For me, there's been nothing memorable about this season at all. The whole Goblin song at the beginning was mildly amusing. I will give them that, but this was just like, it was just a misfire. I agree with the comments. Yeah, the death scene, the Sands of Death scene, should have been the cliffhanger for the episode. Then the stakes would have been higher. Even if you felt it was going to be a reset, at least you would have had a break in between where everybody's going, holy crap, what are they going to do? But then for them to essentially restore everyone, it's just like, when I remember I referenced Avengers Infinity War. There's an Infinity War because at least when that happens, I mean, yeah, there's a part of you that goes, well, yeah, that's going to somehow figure out some way to bring them back. That was a talk for, the few months or the year, whatever, before Endgame came out. But at least the fact that they lost, and they lost in such a major way, really kind of hit home. It really kind of hit home. And then even when they did get to the part of the Endgame where they pretty much figured out a way to kind of undo what Thanos did, there was at least the idea that some people weren't going to come back as a result, which I believe was Black Widow and Vision. And then there was the other part of it was that, and I don't think they exploited enough in the MCU after that 5 years had literally gone by, and they didn't really play that part up. But there were stakes involved, and this whole reboot, this whole going back, it's like RTD is just. It was one thing to bring Tenet back and be like, hey, okay, nostalgia, yeah, okay, he shouldn't be back because that's not the way it works, but we'll take it because it's been so terrible for the last couple of years. But now it just feels like they're resting on laurels at this point, and this is just not good.
This episode really just has nothing redeeming in it. Nothing.
Nothing.
which is a shame.
It is a shame.
Because this drags the entire season down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it has to. Yeah.
I
think there were like 2 episodes that I walked away from really happy with.
No.
Dot and Bubble, I loved that one. I know that wasn't necessarily a universal opinion. But the thing is, I don't even remember what the other one was that I liked.
Rogue and Boom.
Yeah, I liked Rogue. Boom was okay. Rogue and Dot and Bubble, I really liked both of those.
Yeah. No,
but also, like, so did they do Space Babies first to show that he would even save a booger monster so it hit harder when he let Sutekh die?
Here's the thing. We already had in this same season, the music character destroyed the future and the doctor went and saw it and then fixed it so it didn't happen. It's fundamentally the same ending.
I mean, a lot of people were pointing out that part was meant to be, once Sutekh was actually revealed, that part really echoes when the Fourth Doctor takes Sarah Jane back to see the future. It's supposed to be like an homage to that, but it's, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So what did any of this have to do with the larger toy maker arc? What does any of this have to do with this? This is flood or whatever.
Sorry, you're fading again, man.
I'm sorry. What does this have to do with the toy maker arc, or what does any of this have to do with the Mrs. Flood thing? That's the part I don't understand.
We don't know about Flood.
Mrs. Flood is the next season.
Yeah, you have this major 2-parter, which basically didn't pay off anything from the season and doesn't do anything to necessarily set up what's to come. It's just a story, a 2-part story just happened. And it's like, and the one thing that might have been halfway interesting when you're talking about found families and all that was that, okay, Susan, and then it's just like, oh no, we got the wrong anagram. What?
I mean, obviously he's going to go find Susan now, right? This is his motivation to see. Look how good family is.
I don't believe that. See,
at this point, they should never. It's like bringing Bucky back, which never should have happened. That's Ed's fault.
To that, I will say that, and no, there were payoffs in this episode. It just wasn't paid well. You know, I work at a grocery store. It's like when a customer says, "Oh, okay, let me pay for my lotto ticket," and hands me change that adds up to $1. It's not. That's not paid well. I have to go to another register. I have to transfer all that to go ahead and bring to mine. That's not a good day. That's a bad day.
So, yeah, it was really hard to care enough to go and watch that. Like, to get, like, I don't want to be in a situation where it's like I'm dreading watching Doctor Who. I had some of that during the 13th Doctor. You know, it's time for a reboot or another I'm not saying full reboot. I know that's a hot button for people, but this was a chance to bring Doctor Who for a new generation, to relaunch it in a real way. This is so referential. Everything about this is so, like, remember this, even the memory TARDIS, Mel, the Brigadier's daughter, everything is retrograde. It's all looking backwards, and Doctor Who should be looking forwards.
Yeah. I mean, next week we're going to be doing. I was thinking either we could do like a just an overall season thought, or we could rank maybe the episodes if we wanted.
I have an idea of what we can talk about at some point.
What's that?
Based on, I forget who said it, but I wrote it down. Let's talk about the moment each Doctor becomes the Doctor.
That's a good one. That's
good.
Good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, no, that is a good one.
Right now we're at never for this one, but you know, I mean, that's not entirely true.
They don't need another reboot or maybe revamp this, but what they need is they need somebody on board who actually has something to say at this point. And at this point, whatever it is that you can, whatever, like you're saying, Lynch, however you can move forward with the Doctor, whatever it is that you can come up with new stories with. Right now, over at the BBC, they've got nobody who has anything new to say when it comes to the Doctor or new to do. I don't know if the franchise just hasn't hit rock bottom yet, as if 13 wasn't rock bottom. But clearly they haven't gone rock bottom yet enough for somebody to take a risk, a real risk. And regeneration is not that risk. Bi-generation is not that risk.
Yeah. Sean is saying that apparently this latest season was the most watched drama for 16 to 34-year-olds in the UK. I did hear something about that.
Yeah, I'm curious though with some of the way the data's taken on that, because it's hard to track this stuff. And what are they counting? What are they not counting?
Well, actually,
I'm not saying it was a total.
I think for BBC, they'd have more of an accurate rating than based off of a worldwide perspective from Disney Plus, because for the UK to sign up for iPlayer, I think you have to have your age information in there. So I mean, they have an idea at least.
I'm looking at so I've studied the episode ratings a bunch. Wow, I hadn't looked at this season yet. It's bad. It's real bad. I mean, overnight numbers of 2.5 million with the +7, +4 screen episodes of like peaking at 4 million, an average of more like 3.5 million. That's real bad.
Is that
That's
on
low
live?
Whitaker numbers.
Is that on live television though?
Well, it's the same ratings they've been using for years. And admittedly, I know people watch it differently, but no, they do include people watching it over the course of a week. Like, so it's any viewing within the course of a week. So it's not live.
Space Babies apparently hit 6 million.
That's not.
I'm wondering if
here. Where are you seeing this?
Sean said it was UK TV Zone, maybe.
The reliable one I usually go to is DoctorWhoTV.co.uk. It's the Doctor Who ratings accumulator, and they've done every one since going all the way back to 2005 or whatever.
Yeah.
And we've got episode 1 topped out at 4.1 million, episode 2 3.9, all the way down to episodes. We don't have episode 8 in yet because it takes a little time. We got the overnight numbers from it. They're 2.2 million. But episode 7 was 3.5 for the week-long ratings. Overnight, you get overnight, and then you get the week-long ratings added to that. So you get a total of 3 sets of ratings per episode, or rankings, whatever, how many people watched it.
Yeah.
It's bad, is my point. Now, probably is not counting American audiences. Traditionally, these don't. This is the British audience.
No. They have legal rules that the numbers must be given in the UK, unlike the US.
Right, but these are the UK numbers I'm looking at. I'm wondering why we're seeing a discrepancy between the two sets of numbers. I don't know why.
YW, we're spoiling it to all hell. You don't want to be here. No,
don't do that.
We'll watch it and then come back and leave a review after. Latest series, UK TV Zone was saying that according to the numbers that they collected, that Doctor Who has been the biggest drama for a young audience. But I feel like there was more I wanted to say, but we've just gone to this point that it's
because there's nothing else to say.
We didn't like it. We didn't like it. It was really poorly done. Like I said, I enjoyed
the TARDIS dragging the God of Death behind it through the vortex was a great idea. I didn't love everything about the execution, and what it meant was terrible and all that, but just the idea of it, that was awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I honestly didn't get that because I rewatched it today. Like, I had to sit through that twice. And usually when I do a second viewing, it'll help cement different thoughts somewhat, at least. Not this time. No.
Yeah. No, I was surprised. I watched it again today beforehand, and it's one of the few times recently that I've watched an episode again, and I genuinely liked it even less like the second time when I didn't like it at first. And I was kind of hoping, I'm like, maybe if I rewatch it before this, I'll find a few things and feel a little better about it. And I really didn't.
Because, I mean, they defeat Sutekh by going ahead and connecting him to what's it called?
Leashed him. They
As
leashed him.
a hook.
It's a dog on a leash.
No, it's well, yeah, basically that is what it
Brought
is.
it back the glove thing.
Bad dog.
The intelligent glove. I did like the rope bit in the memory TARDIS, trying to get it to go ahead and
Did we see a crinoid seed pod fall out of a cabinet in there?
Maybe.
We don't want that. That's bad. Those are bad.
Apparently there's a toclophane shell with a fez on it. It's like, why is that in there? What are you doing in there? I did like Mel going ahead and having that moment with the 6th Doctor code, and then cozying up to the question mark vest of 7s.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice. But see, those little moments are nothing when your episode sucks. And it's such a disservice to Sutekh because I'm now the #1 Pyramid of Mars stan. That's what the kids say now, right? Stan.
Yeah. But no, and I mean that stuff is great, and it's a real shame because I would love if, every few seasons there was something like that where it was like, oh, now Tegan's back for like a couple of episodes, and now Jamie's back for a couple of episodes or something. Like I think that stuff would kind of be cool, but yeah.
I really liked it when Sarah Jane showed up. It's what got me coming back to watch the show, honestly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like at this point, it feels regressive. I'd rather just look forward for at least for a few years. Like, don't do it for a while.
Yeah.
Before you're gonna come back to it, because right now it feels like it happens so much.
Yeah.
That said, I was trying to go through like who's left alive at this point that could come back that hasn't.
Perry.
The actress that played Nyssa, Adric Turlo, Romano 2, and that's it. Maybe.
No, there's more.
Who? I mean, okay, maybe people from the 2nd and 1st Doctor era, but going from the 3rd on, I think that's it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I am still with it, Sean. The finale isn't going to reduce my liking the episodes that I did like, but it's definitely
Dot and Bubble.
Bad. Yeah.
Wait, how did Sean like Dot and Bubble? I want to know this.
I thought Sean liked Dot and
But
Bubble.
I need a ranking. I need a we give. I need
all your information to Sean. While Sean is dragging up his number, he did want a direct reaction to Russell apparently saying in the commentary that Russell making Ruby's mother nothing. That reveal was kind of a response to Star Wars. He loved that, and that's.
But that's why it sucked to me, because it was a response. It was a very clear response to Star Wars, and it's like
that was unpopular for a reason.
Yeah. And not to mention that it lessens Doctor Who when you're responding to another franchise. You're not in competition. Franchise. Like it's stupid.
I also like it was a bad choice for a reason, yes, but also going ahead and having I understand what they're saying. Oh, you're going ahead, you're placing such importance on it, and that's why it's important. Sutekh missed her face, and that's why it's this big mystery. And Sutekh goes ahead. He wants to find out who's her mother.
He just wants to know. Drama. He's a super fan. He's addicted to the show.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
Stupid really is a real nice word for it.
Yeah.
No, I need to know Sean's ranking on this episode, though.
7 to 10 for Bottom Level.
Sure.
Yeah,
Too low, but I'll respect it.
Joe, out of 10, Empire of Death.
Empire of Death. You want me to give it a rating?
We gave a rating to the first part. We have to do a rating.
No, I know. I feel bad because like it feels like being hyperbolic, but like I really don't feel comfortable giving this more than like a 2.
You're on the money, Joe.
Like,
I was going to say 1.
Yeah, like I'm like I can't. I don't think there's anything about this, and the 2 is almost exclusively for like Mel being there and interacting and like being involved, and yeah, so
yeah. Okay, Jermaine, out of 10. 1.
Yeah, Joe has given me the courage and the credibility to say 1, and the reason I'm going to go 1 because 1, the episode happened. So,
yeah,
and then the other part is that I think honestly, the fact that for a finale, it really wasn't a finale, like what has already been shared. The fact that like the biggest high point of what should have been an episode, which is the entire universe getting wiped out, happens in the beginning of the show as opposed to the end of the show leading into the next season. It's like I don't. This has at this point, this episode has made Doctor Who like a very saccharine fairy tale, and it's not the drama that I've come to know and love, where there is not only are there high points, but there's also real losses, things that make you miss characters and miss people and miss situations. This just seemed to be like, even calling it a fever dream would be giving it too much credit at this season, at this point, this episode. This was just, it happened. And that's the only redeeming quality about this episode, was that it happened. But it didn't do anything. It didn't say anything. It didn't move the needle. There's no reason for me to revisit Ruby Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever it is, as a character. It made no sense whatsoever. And RTD has got a lot of ground to make up.
Landry of the Q Walkers. Are you 1 too?
There's things I liked. Like I liked the Doctor's performance. I like Sutekh being dragged to the vortex visually and conceptually a lot. I really liked Mel. The memory TARDIS was enjoyable. But Ruby sitting there whining, why can't I see her face when everyone is dying? Like, at least the Doctor had the temerity to say, there's bigger things going on. And there were, but Ruby dragged it down so much as a character, as she exemplified throughout the season in a lot of ways. I felt narcissism, like self-obsession, and I feel like the Doctor throughout the season catered to her, this being the solution to the entire season. Whereas this was standalone, maybe I'd be looking at going, this is like a 4 or 5 for me, because of the elements I liked. I did like. There were things I enjoyed in it, but because of its connectivity going all the way back, I have to go with a generous 2.5.
Okay. I am, 2.5 might be my number 2. I was going to go 3, like Sean gave this a 3, because I
didn't see all that.
Yeah, I sadly, I get the general idea of what's going on, but it's still just not good. So I'm just at that level of stupid where I understand where RTD was thinking that one drunken night that he was writing this. I'm named after a road. What a great line.
What's our average there? We got a 1, a 2, a 2.5, and a 3. Is that where no, 2 2.5s. So we're at about an average of a 2.
Yeah, about a 2 overall.
And a 1.
We throw in a Sean there, we get a 2.25.
I do want to point out that the Sutekh on the TARDIS memes, they have been great. They have been really good. If it was the early version of Madmen with the Box, I would have had like 15 of them to show.
I did appreciate the one artist who did the sketch that was like, you know, Charlie Brown and Snoopy on the doghouse as the TARDIS and Sutekh. That was cute.
Sutekh's been there the whole time.
I've been there all the time.
And killed every reality and every time. And okay. Sure. What about the Doctor?
Sutekh is the Red Baron.
Times though. Wait, I just found a loophole in this story. Amy's reality is still gone. Doctor can't go back there to fix it. Sutekh killed every moment that the Doctor visited. Well, that includes New York, where the Doctor can't go back because it's locked for him. That Sutekh wins there.
Yeah, can't go back. No more. No more.
Gone.
Well, no. Sutekh's claws can go there. He can't go there. That's why he had him on the lead.
But only because the TARDIS went there to go.
I know. Jeez.
It's bad.
Such a waste. Such a freaking
What was the rest of? I didn't see. They popped up for a second. What were the rest of Sean's rankings for this season?
Sorry.
6'10", 7'10", 9'10". It's okay. So there's some things I agree with Sean, but the 73 yards thing hurts. We are not the same, Sean.
They tried to connect 73 yards to this.
They tried.
Yeah.
They tried hard, but it didn't work.
I still like that episode as it stands. I think it is. I still enjoyed that episode quite a bit, but it's.
But also in this episode, they tease the Doctor like losing trust in Ruby, and that goes fucking nowhere. Like,
and if I can follow up on that, this whole season felt like that. Like things were being set up that went nowhere. That just went nowhere. Even 73 yards was just like, it was no turn left. It just wasn't. Yeah. It just wasn't. Yeah. But this felt like a bunch of retreads with stuff that basically it didn't pay off as like the originals, that they were either homaging or just thinking we wouldn't notice that, oh no, we've seen this before. And it was better the first time around.
When we did the review of 73 yards, I brought up turn left because I gave 73 yards like a 2 or something. And,
exactly.
I brought up 73 yards that or turn left for that reason. Was the Doctor's absent from it, but the entire episode revolves around the Doctor, with the Doctor not even being it. That's why it's so strong. The Doctor mattered this much, and this is the result. 73 yards, the Doctor disappears, and I'm like, okay, and I'll just go on with my life. It'll suck, but I'll go on with it.
Yep.
Yeah, no. It's also because Ruby in 73 yards, she goes ahead, she makes an alternate reality because they establish firmly that Gwilym does make it in. He makes it in fully, and he forces DNA testing. And I heard about that they used DNA to a deleted scene to justify it, but it didn't feel. This whole thing is so weak. It's built on. There's a term. It's built on
misery and pain.
But yeah, no, basically that works fine. It's so stupid. It doesn't have any support at all. The only highlight is that they got Gabriel Wolf back to do the voice, and then it's just wasted. It's wasted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's about it, though. Next week we'll do a ranking first, and then we'll talk about the moments the following week, if that's okay with you. So we'll be ranking season 1, series 14, whatever you want to go ahead and call it. We'll go ahead and rank them next week. Traditionally, Timeless is voted at the bottom of the polls. After seeing Sutekh on a time leash, I anticipate this episode for the bottom. Yes. But yeah, we'll see you all next week for more Mad Men with a Box. Season 1 ranking. That'll be fun. See you next time. Goodbye. ALLONS-Y.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. We all had to suffer that.
Geronimo.
Hey!